Just touch shots? Yeah, we'll just smile. We'll just okay. Oh, actually, it's really lovely to see everyone. It's really beautiful. Gorgeous.
Shall we?
Yeah, let's take it away.
Okay.
All right.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. It is my tremendous pleasure to welcome you to the Faculty of Business Administration's 36th Annual Partners Celebration. Thanks for being here. Before we go on, credit where credit is due, I just want to point out the fabulous guitar work of Brad Jefford, who was playing here earlier this afternoon. Fantastic player from our School of Music here at Memorial. So I am Courtney Tsung Lancaster, though some of you may know me as the dessert lady. But moving on from that, I'm also a student of the Masters of Business Administration in Social, Enterprise, and Entrepreneurship program. Say that 5 times fast. I am finished the coursework for my MBA SEE, and I'm currently a quarter of the way through my work term for the program. Right now I'm interning with the nonprofit, the Community Center Alliance of St. John's, and the Fry Family Foundation. We're doing a bit of work in restructuring of their bursary program for low-income youth in our community. The MBA SEE program has been a really fantastic learning opportunity for me, in part because of that kind of thing. I've had the opportunity to meet and interact with some of the great social enterprises and innovators in Newfoundland, partially through our living lab, Choices for Youth, also through our experiential learning trips to some of the outport communities nearby to learn about economic revitalization through social enterprise. It's been a really fantastic year for me. I'm so excited to be at Memorial. I'm so appreciative of your support of the FBA, and I'm very pleased to be one of your MCs this afternoon.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Madeline Roach. I'm from here in St. John's, and I will be one of your co-MCs for this afternoon as well. I'm a third-year commerce student, and I'm the communications representative for the commerce class of 2025. And in addition to the high-quality education we receive here, business students also have the opportunity to be a part of incredible extracurricular programs. And just this past year, I became an equity analyst for Memorial's student-led investment portfolio, The Fund. Along with two of my teammates, I represented Memorial at the Women's Stock Pitch Competition and Leadership Summit this past winter in Virginia. We competed against 20 teams from around the world, and we're extremely proud to finish in the competition as one of the top 4 finalists. Our travel and accommodations for this competition was funded in part by the association's program. This is just one example of how the partnerships that the MUN business faculty enjoys has a real impact on us as business students. We're so glad you could all join us today to help celebrate our award winners and to help pay tribute to the many connections we share that help us all contribute to the future of Newfoundland and Labrador.
Before we continue, oh yes, absolutely, yes. Before we continue, it's my tremendous privilege to offer a land acknowledgement. On a personal note, I come from Nova Scotia, Antigonish, Mi'kma'ki, and the recent wildfires in that community are very foremost in my mind, along with the wildfires that are occurring across our country right now. We're very lucky here in Newfoundland to have incredible air quality. And so with that in mind, I can't help but take note when I give a land acknowledgement of the reality that the climate I grew up in is not the climate that I'm likely to see again in my lifetime. But with the leadership and engagement of thinkers and leaders such as those in this room, I am very hopeful that we will again see that climate for our children's children. With that in mind, we would also like to acknowledge that the lands on which Memorial University's campuses are situated are the traditional territories of diverse Indigenous groups. And we acknowledge with respect the histories and cultures, recorded and unrecorded, of the Beothuk, the Mi'kmaq, Innu, and Inuit of this province. We strive for respectful relationships with all peoples of this province as we search for collective healing, reconciliation, honor, and care for this beautiful land together.
Tonight, we are here for 2 reasons. Partners is the business faculty's annual celebration that recognizes the importance of strong community partnerships in developing excellent graduates and conducting the world-class research for which Memorial's business faculty is known. We're also here to honor the accomplishments of 3 graduates of Memorial University and 1 soon-to-be graduate who are being recognized with our most prestigious awards. This is the first time Partners has been held in person since 2019, so we're really excited to gather here together once more in the spirit of connection and celebration. Throughout the evening, you'll hear about the importance of partnerships and the role these relationships play in the work the faculty does every day. It's because of these important connections that Memorial Business Faculty has been able to position itself as a leader in business and management education, not only in Canada, but throughout the world. For example, did you know that Memorial's Business Faculty was the first in Atlantic Canada to earn international accreditation by the Associations to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business? AACSB accreditation is a mark of excellence among business schools, one that requires meeting rigorous standards and demonstrating an ongoing commitment to excellence in teaching, research, curriculum development, and learning success. Only about 5% of business schools around the world are accredited by AASCB. It requires renewal every 5 years, and Memorial's business faculty has been continuously accredited since 2002, which for some visual context was the year I was born. So I'm a visual representation.
It was not the year that I was born, but that's okay. Before we get to the awards ceremony, we would like to welcome some very special guests here. From the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador, our Member of House of Assembly, Scott Reid. From the Atlantic Canada Opportunities Agency, Dave Boland, Vice President, Newfoundland and Labrador. From Memorial University, we welcome Lisa Brown, Vice President, Advancement and External Relations, and Dr. Donna Hardy-Cox, Associate Vice President, Academic Students. Why don't we give that lot a round of applause? Thank you for being here. And then from our very own Faculty of Business Administration, we have Dr. Trevor Brown, Interim Dean, Dr. Erin Oldford, Associate Dean, Undergraduate Programs and Accreditation, Dr. Rochelle Shanahan, Interim Associate Dean, Graduate Programs and Research, and Valerie Howe, Director of the Gardner Center. And another round of applause. And we'd also like to welcome 2 people whom we'll hear from later. Dr. Alex Fazaruk, Professor Emeritus at the Business Faculty, and Stephen Gardner, representing the Gardner family. And of course, oh yes, yes, consistency, set up a pattern, complete it, yes. And of course, we wouldn't be here tonight without our award winners. And so a very special welcome to Wade Daw, winner of the P.J. Gardner Newfoundland and Labrador Entrepreneur of the Year Award, and Julia Mullally, winner of the Alumni Honor Award.
Unfortunately, our student winners couldn't join us, but you'll still hear about them shortly. Finally, we extend a warm welcome to the members of our advisory board and associates program, both of which play an important role in the success of the business faculty. It's quite incredible to look out at the room this evening and realize that everyone here is a supporter of the business faculty at Memorial University. We are all aware that these are challenging times for our province. However, with your support, the faculty has faced these challenges and continues to move forward so that it meets its special obligations to the Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. Now, I'd like to call upon our first speaker. We're pleased to have MHA Scott Reid with us. Scott is a Memorial graduate with a degree in political science and education, and he represents the constituency of St. George's Humber. He currently serves as the parliamentary secretary to the Minister of Education, whom he is here representing today. Please welcome Scott Reid to bring greetings on behalf of our partner, the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador.
Thank you. It's great to be here today. It's great to see so many familiar faces here. I used to teach a few courses at the faculty a few years back before entering politics, so it's great to reconnect with a number of students and a number of professors who taught at the same time as I did there. So it's great to be here today. Thank you, and good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here today at the annual Partner Celebration hosted by the Faculty of Business Administration at Memorial University. This has been an eventful week in the Department of Education. We have a new minister, the Honourable Krista Howell, Lynn Howell. Minister Howell has asked me to bring along her greetings. She's unable to make it here today. Some of the province's most successful innovators and entrepreneurs, business leaders, lawyers, accountants, and people in so many other groups have graduated from the Faculty of Business Administration at Memorial. The positive impact of your graduates have made on the economy, social, and cultural landscape of our province is immeasurable. The annual Partner Celebration recognizes those contributions made to the business faculty, which in turn benefits students and indeed the whole province. On behalf of the provincial government, I offer my heartfelt thank you to the community partners who continuously support the Faculty of Business and its students who have chosen business as the focus of their degree. The business sector is vital to our evolving and diverse economy, and the industry will continue to advance us as a province well into the future. I look forward to the award portion of the evening and to learn more about each of the recipients and their stories. I know some of them already. One of them is originally from my district. So I want to let you know that Premier Furey and Minister Howell recognizes the important role that you play in our province, as do I. Again, thank you to the community partners for your support to the Faculty of Education. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Scott. Our next speaker has a very special connection to the ceremony. In 2019, she was in this room to receive the P.J. Gardner Newfoundland and Labrador Entrepreneur of the Year Award as CEO of Stella's Circle. Lisa Brown is also a Memorial graduate, earning a BA in 1991 and an MBA in 1993. And now she is Vice President of Advancement and External Relations at Memorial. So please welcome Lisa Brown.
Thank you so much, and welcome everyone. I was getting concerned that we were all going to have to disclose our birth year there for a moment, so I'm quite relieved that that didn't continue. Such a pleasure for me to be here on behalf of our president, Dr. Neil Bowes, but particularly because I feel such a connection to the Faculty of Business Administration, and it has played such an incredible role in my life. So anytime I get to come back here and acknowledge the people who have made that possible, it's one that I grab. It was an incredible experience to participate in the MBA program, and I thank all of you, donors, alumni, faculty, and staff who have made that possible for our students and for our alumni. And special congratulations to all of the recipients. Mohammed, I haven't met yet, but I look forward to. His bio is quite impressive. Belle, who I just happened to meet a number of months ago, and her bio is incredibly impressive, and it reminded me a lot of some of my activities I did when I was at the when I was as a student, minus the scholarship. She won them, I didn't. Wade. So Wade, when I saw Wade had won, I thought, well, of course he has won this award. And I have a strong memory of Wade for some reason, which I'm going to share with you. When I was in the MBA program, he was doing his BCom, and I think we got to know each other a little bit through the Entrepreneurship Society. And at one point, he and a friend were in a fast food venture, and I might be making all of this up. I don't know, but I'll go with it. And at one point, he went to a restaurant to buy some things. There was a restaurant closing, and they went to buy some things. And he was literally on his hands and knees pulling up the tiles because the owner said, "Take whatever you need," sort of thing. So from that moment on, I knew he would be incredibly successful just from the tenacity alone and the determination. So congratulations, Wade. I hope you're not pulling up tiles anymore. And Julia, I had the pleasure of working with Julia when I was at Stella Circle, and her strategic focus, her integrity, and her kindness make her such an incredible asset to the province, so congratulations to you. Thank you to the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador, to ACOA, members of the Associates Program, faculty and staff who do all they do to support our students, the Deeds Advisory Board, and such a pleasure for me to be here and to celebrate all of you here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, Lisa. Up next, we have Dr. Trevor Brown, Interim Dean of the Faculty of Business Administration. Dr. Brown will tell us a little more about the importance of the event, the faculty's ongoing work, and the importance of partnerships in moving the province of Newfoundland and Labrador forward. Please welcome Dr. Brown.
Thank you, Madeline. As many of you know, most of my family's in healthcare, so doctor doesn't always go over well. It's so good to see so many people here. This is the first time we've held this event since 2019 in person, and we didn't have the event last year, so it's wonderful to see everyone here. You know, one of the questions I often get asked is, what exactly is this partners event? And really, it's an opportunity for us to celebrate and recognize the strong community partnerships we have, and just how important those are in developing our curriculum, our programming, providing opportunities for researchers to do the outstanding research that we see in our faculty in the university. I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize just the breadth and support we have in our community. In this room tonight, we've got people from the Associates program, which I'll touch on later, and Madeline talked about how important that is to enable student events. The advisory board, alumni, senior leadership from the university, government, funders, donors, staff, students, faculty, and I really want to take a couple minutes to highlight students. Courtney and Madeline, you are a tough act to follow. Madeline, I'm going to date myself. I've been here 24 years, so it predates you. And I was sitting in my seat going, I'm not sure I can do as well as the two of them this evening going through. So thank you for taking the opportunity to be our MCs this evening. Hopefully you've had a chance to interact with many of our students. There are 10 of them here representing the breadth and depth of our programming. And it's one of the things as Dean I'm really proud of. We have a diversity of students, not just in terms of international representation, but in the programming we offer. One of the things I love about our faculty is we ensure that the programming enables people to be successful across the industry. For-profit, not-for-profit, social enterprise, public sector, entrepreneurship, and the list goes on. And that's something that I'm quite proud of. And I can't underestimate how important our partners are. And some of them were touched on earlier, but I really want to emphasize them again. The Associates program is critical for us. That funds our students on things like the fund and going into competitions, our case teams, and quite frankly, we wouldn't have been able to support that without that program. For those of you in the room I recognize from the advisory board, I know personally how much I valued the guidance and the interactions over the years as it relates to strategy, priorities, what's going on in industry, where should we be focusing. From government and funders, it's critical to how we move forward as it relates to enabling programming, providing research opportunities for faculty to move forward. Alumni, I won't say where I was pre-Memorial, in fairness to my previous employer. But I can tell you, and you can read between the lines here, I may have been 2 streets over from Bay Street. It was a very different experience. We have such phenomenal alumni support. Whether I talk about coming to our classroom as per-course instructors, as guest lecturers, judges on cases, mentors, I could go on, donors. All of that is so critical to us in enabling us both as faculty and students to succeed. You know, donors through scholarships, opportunities in building renovations, and all those things are critical to us going forward. For the senior leadership of Moore University, I have to thank you on behalf of the faculty for recognizing our initiatives, supporting us, and helping us make sure we meet the special obligations of the province. We've got a number of faculty here this evening. Without faculty, we would not be able to deliver our programs, to ensure that our programs are meaningful and engage students, nor would we have the contributions necessary in terms of knowledge creation around research. And many times it goes unnoticed, but I really want to emphasize our staff. And actually, at this point, I'll ask people to just clap in a round of applause for the staff that made today happen. Right? It's wonderful for me as dean to stand in front of you folks. You've got to understand that as of at one point today, numbers were still coming in as we were going through. And I'm delighted that we have over 150 people here to celebrate with us today. Partners is also critical as it relates to our outreach centers. The areas that we focus on around innovation and growth. And there's no shortage of them we have in the faculty business. Whether it's the Center for Social Enterprise, and you heard from Courtney, who's doing her MBA in that area, Memorial Center for Entrepreneurship, which is shared with engineering, Snova Center for Excellent Sales and Supply Chain Management, mouthful, but awesome in terms of looking at that critical area around sales and supply chain. And I can't imagine anyone hasn't heard issues around supply chain since a thing called COVID started going through in terms of the reality. And the Gardner Center. And I know Valerie's here this evening. So I recognize some of you say these are challenging times for the province. Yeah, they are in one sense, but I think they're opportune times for innovation. One of the things I really want to emphasize, it's with the support of folks in this room that we're able to make sure we meet our special obligation to the province and to help our province move forward. I thank you for that support. Huge shout out to our winners this evening who, through their career paths, in particular Julia and Wade, show that we definitely have programming that enables people to take their career in any direction. And without that, at that point, folks, I'll say congratulations to the winners, and thank you, everybody. And Courtney and Madeline, you're an awful act, tough act to follow, so congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. You were talking about the breadth of the programs at the FBA, and I want to mention that I came to the MBA SCE program after nearly 20 years in the performing arts sector, and I called the school and said, is this the place for me to develop my business acumen coming from an arts background? And they reassured me the program coordinator for the Center for Social Enterprise and for the program is also a professional flautist, which just goes to show you that nothing is a silo here at MUN or in Newfoundland and Labrador. It is time for our awards presentation. Partners is about community and relationships, both of which are essential to success in business. In 2019, the business faculty decided to recognize the important role that students play as leaders and volunteers in their communities and established 2 new awards celebrating student citizenships. One of the awards is named after Dr. Robert Crosby. Dr. Robert Crosby couldn't be here tonight, but Dr. Victor Young is here. We would like to recognize and thank him for allowing us to establish one of these awards in his name. Thank you, Dr. Victor Young. to tell us a bit more about this year's winners, please welcome Dr. Erin Oldfield and Dr. Rochelle Shanahan.
Thank you, Courtney, and good afternoon, everyone. There are many things we're proud of at the business faculty, but one of the things we're most proud of is our students. And I see a whole row of students sitting back over there. We truly have excellent students. They come from right here in Newfoundland and Labrador, as well as from around the globe. They bring ideas and experiences to the classroom, and they take what they learn from the classroom out into the world, and they do their best to make a difference.
And we're also extremely proud of our alumni. As evidenced by the people in this room, and especially this year's award winners, our alumni are leaders, innovators, and change makers. You give back to Memorial and the business community with your time, your experience and expertise, and with your donations. And without you, we would not be able to do everything that we do to educate the business leaders who will guide us into the future. So two of our alumni who continue to make positive impacts on Memorial and on their communities are Dr. Robert Crosby and Dr. Victor Young. They're both business graduates, and they have remained important supporters throughout their careers. They have served on our advisory board, they help prepare students for competitions, and they're also important donors, and all of which helps us to achieve our strategic priorities as a faculty. And when we decided to create these Student Citizenship Awards in 2019, it was a natural fit to name the awards after them.
Partners is all about community and relationships, both of which are essential to the success in business and to the success of our faculty and the university as a whole. These awards are intended to recognize students who are engaged in and give back to our community, the university, and the faculty. Rob Crosby, as we said, could not be here tonight, and neither could either of our Student Citizenship Award winners. While we're disappointed, we're going to take the opportunity to share some nice things about them. So I'll start with Mohammed Bazir. Mohammed Bazir is an international student from Bangladesh who is in the Bachelor of Business Administration program. He's been here for only a few short years, but already he's stepped up to create a real impact on student life at Memorial University. He served as the business faculty representative on the Memorial University Students' Union, and he brought his business learning to the International Student Council, where he was vice president of finance and administration. In both of these roles, he helped organize events and accounting-related initiatives. Mohammed lives in residence and has been the sports representative for Bowater House Council. So very, very involved. He's also very active in the Bangladeshi Student Forum. So we wish Mohammed all the best while he's recovering from a medical procedure back home in Bangladesh. And if we could give him a round of applause in his absence.
And our other student award winner is Belle Steinhauer, and she is from Topsail. And Belle graduated last month with her MBA degree. Belle made a big impact during her time in the MBA program. She was a member of the MBA case competition team that participated in the John Molson MBA International Case Competition in Montreal. She was also one of 10 MBA students from across Canada chosen to speak at the 2022 Global Business Forum in Banff. Belle has been a member of the fund and the Management Consulting Club. Yes, and we're happy that Dr. Victor Young is here tonight. And am I ready?
Okay.
No. No, I'm not ready.
It's okay.
Yes, she's done so much. So Belle, this is, yes, it's not, it keeps going. So Belle is also a graduate of the Evolution program at Genesis with Hive Geospatial, for which she is the business development lead. And outside of Memorial, Belle is a longtime volunteer at therapeutic riding centers across Canada, helping to provide inclusive access to equine therapy to children, youth, and adults. And currently, she volunteers at Rainbow Riders in St. John's. Belle's commitment to intellectual curiosity and community service during her time at Memorial has been recognized with several awards and scholarships, including the MBA Award for Excellence and the Dr. Alex Fazruk MBA Scholarship for Excellence in Service. Belle is at a trade show in Ireland, but she did send this video with a few remarks.
Good evening, fellow award winners, faculty members, fellow students, and distinguished guests. Unfortunately, I could not be at Partners this evening with you all. I'm filming this as I'm out of the country and apologize in advance for any background noise that might occur. I'm deeply honored to receive the Dr. Victor Young Graduate Student Citizenship Award. And firstly, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude for the selection committee for recognizing my efforts and bestowing me with this prestigious award. It's a privilege to be this year's recipient, representing the values that the faculty holds dear. This award is not solely a testament to my own achievements, but represents the collective spirit of giving back that thrives within Memorial's Faculty of Business. It's a reflection of the tremendous support I've received from professors, mentors, classmates, and the broader community. Their unwavering encouragement and guidance have played an instrumental role in shaping my journey as a student in the MBA program. Throughout my academic pursuits, I've always believed in the power of service and its transformative impact on both individuals and society as a whole. As students, we receive so much support and compassion from so many individuals that it only feels right to help support others in their own journeys. Engaging with the graduate student and local communities has allowed me to witness the incredible strength, resilience, and compassion that exists here in St. John's. When I started the MBA program, I noticed that we possess a unique opportunity to bridge the gap between academia and the world beyond the university walls, and that our actions have the potential to make a meaningful difference. I can confidently say that the Memorial University's Faculty of Business has been a driving force for my own volunteer work. And I know that this will continue to do the same, that they will continue to do the same, rather, for countless other students in the future. Thank you again for this tremendous honor, and congratulations to all award recipients. Enjoy the rest of the event. Good evening, fellow award.
We're happy that Dr. Victor Young is here tonight, and we'd like to invite him to join us up here at the front.
And I would also like to invite Tim Bell, who is Belle's uncle, to accept the Dr. Victor Young Graduate Student Citizenship Award on Belle's behalf. Yeah.
Thank you, Tim, for joining us, and thank you, Dr. Young, for your support. Congratulations once again to Belle and Mohammed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, speakers, and congratulations again to Mohammed and Belle. Since I've already exposed my birth year, it's safe to say, as a pretty young student in the business faculty, it's really wonderful to see what other students have done in their time here, and where I have some time left is super inspiring. Next, the Gardner family name is synonymous with the Faculty of the Business and Administration. The late Peter Gardner was the first head of the business school over 50 years ago. The Gardner Center, an award-winning professional development hub of the business faculty, is also named in recognition of Peter's contributions to business education in the province. Peter's late wife was Janet Gardner, who paved the way for women in the accounting field by becoming the first female chartered accountant in the province. She also served on the advisory board for the business faculty and was the first woman to chair a Memorial's Board of Regents. Their children, Susan, Stephen, and Jane, continue to contribute to Memorial in various ways, including by endowing scholarships in their parents' names. Susan also works as the business faculty's senior administrative officer. We are so happy that Stephen is here tonight to represent the Gardner family, and I'd like to invite him to the podium to introduce the winner of the PJ Gardner 2023 Newfoundland and Labrador Entrepreneur of the Year Award.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. MHA, Mr. Reed, Vice President Brown, Mr. Young, award recipients, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to be here this evening on behalf of my family to present the 2023 PJ Gardner Newfoundland and Labrador Entrepreneur of the Year Award. This award was named in honor of my father, the late Peter John Gardner, as referenced earlier, the first head of Memorial School of Business. It recognizes individuals who possess an entrepreneurial spirit and those who are committed to business excellence and whose entrepreneurial efforts have strengthened our province's economy and contribute to the business community. At its root, the award celebrates leaders who have not only had the vision, but also who possess the courage and ingenuity to turn that vision into reality. This year's winner certainly exemplifies all of these criteria. Wade Daw is a venture capitalist, an entrepreneur, and a skilled investor. Born and raised in Kelligrews, he's a strong believer in the potential of Atlantic Canada. And fiercely independent throughout his career, he achieved early international success in the resource sector and went on to play a pivotal role in a number of companies as a financier and a company founder. Wade has transformed and sold public and private companies across many sectors, including technology, medical services, mining, oil and gas, and completing transactions in the billions of dollars. Most recently, his Torrent Capital formed a partnership here in Newfoundland with the Port of Argentia, and with the goal of transforming it into a landmark national hub for green energy initiatives. Very exciting for us here in Newfoundland to hear of Wade coming back and investing within the province. Wade is a proud graduate of the Faculty of Business Administration, earning a Commerce degree in 1992. He has served on the President's Advisory Committee and is an ongoing donor to the business faculty. In 2008, he created one of the faculty's largest awards in the memory of his brother-in-law, Mr. James R. Piercy, and that award is for entrepreneurship, and it provides $10,000 annually to entrepreneurial students at Memorial. To date, it has awarded over $130,000 to budding entrepreneurs. Wade now lives in Halifax and has become involved in the entrepreneurial community there. He mentors young entrepreneurs at Dalhousie's Creative Destruction Lab and has committed to establishing a scholarship program for Black students in honor of his good friend, Senator Don Oliver. Wade strongly believes that investing in the next generation is the key to ensuring that Atlantic Canada reaches its potential. On behalf of the business faculty, and particularly my late parents, Peter and Janet Gardner, I would like to present the 2023 PJ Gardner Newfoundland and Labrador Entrepreneur of the Year Award to Mr. Wade Daw.
Who's that young guy I see on that picture? Good evening, everyone, and it's great to see such an impressive turnout here this evening. I want to start by congratulating Julia Malali and Belle Steinhauer and Mohammed Bazir. I think all well-deserved, and it's just great to see that we celebrate both students and accomplished alumni. So I remember when this building was the old Battery Hotel, and I know it struggled for many years, and it was in a state of ramshackle, I think, for maybe a decade or more. And now look at it, it's just incredible. It houses the Genesis Center, which is, there's been so much success come out of this center. It's run by incredible management, you know, startups, innovation, and it's just fitting, a great venue, and it's just impressive to see what's happened at Memorial, at the Genesis Center, and I think it's indicative, the success is indicative of what's happening, not just at Memorial, but also in the province. You know, we had the largest private equity deal in Canadian history come from this province, and you know, we have Greg here with Mary Brown's, and he's receiving a well-deserved honorary degree. I mean, it's just incredible, the entrepreneurship and the people that we have in this province. So it's impressive. A few weeks ago, I was contacted by the Dean of Memorial's Business School, Dr. Trevor Brown, and he notified me I'd be receiving this award. And it's meaningful to me, and I'm very appreciative, and I want to say thank you. I also want to say thank you to Danny Hayward for nominating me. Danny put together a very thoughtful nomination, and I didn't apply for the award, had no idea I was getting it till I received the phone call, and so it was a complete surprise, and I'm appreciative, so thank you. I was told I have 4 to 5 minutes to speak, and I'm going to warn you in advance, I might go a tiny bit over. So I've probably at times never been the best rule follower. So I attended MUN, the MUN Business School, from the fall of 1987 till the spring of 1992. And I wasn't exactly known for attending all my classes, but I am appreciative and thankful for the many students that loaned me their notes. And I remember one time, and I don't think he'd mind, but it's Bert Wareham from Arnold's Cove, and he's done very well for himself. And Bert was a great note taker, and so I asked Bert. I couldn't pay attention long enough to take my own notes, so I asked Bert if he would loan me his notes, and he did. So it was economics, and the professor was Dr. Royce. So I went home and I read the notes and I studied it, and I went in and to get my mark, and Bert said, "Wait, what'd you get? What'd you get?" And I remember I got 85. I said, "Bert, what did you get?" And Bert got 80. Bert never loaned me his notes after that. So anyway, so I had various entrepreneurial pursuits, including I started a Mexican restaurant at the mall with a friend. It was called Taco de Town, or Talk of the Town, and spicy Mexican food made by Newfoundlanders that basically couldn't cook. What could go wrong, I guess. And Lisa, I meant to say thank you for helping me scrape up those tiles. I appreciated that. I regularly tried new ventures. I bought baseball and hockey cards in bulk, and I sold them to dealers in the United States. That was during university. I worked in our family business, and I had a part-time job at the Topsail Youth Assessment Center. It was a permanent part-time job. I had to work 20 hours a week to keep my job. I was actually in a union, and I did, but I usually worked between 30 and 40 hours a week while going to university and doing a lot of other things. So at a young age, my work ethic has always been important in our family, and my dad encouraged me, he's here tonight, encouraged me to get out and, you know, find ways to make a buck. And my mother, she encouraged me to save my money, don't waste it. I wasn't old enough to see over the counter at the bank, and we set up our first bank account, my first bank account at Scotiabank, and she was a co-signer on that, and I still have that account. So as kids, my brother Philip and I, we would do all kinds of things. We'd dig worms in the summer, we'd take care of them over the winter, and we'd sell them right before the May 24th holiday, and we do pretty well. I think we'd get 50 cents a worm or something like that. So we collected scrap and we sold it in the scrap yard. We actually had chickens. We convinced our father one time, we heard that we could do really well with chickens. So he went out and bought cages, and we had chickens, and we were going around selling eggs. I tell you, if we had to buy the food, he used to buy the food for us, we never would have made any money on those eggs. But they were quite good. My parents, they both worked together. They worked hard. They ran a plumbing and electrical business in Long Pond. And I worked in the store on the weekends, on Saturday. They encouraged my sister Kimberly, who's also here tonight, and they encouraged me, and they encouraged my brother to get a university education. My sister is just retiring this year, a wonderful teacher, and she works in Paradise. My brother, he went off to get his master's in engineering. He's got a prestigious job in Ottawa, and I managed to scrape through and get a business degree. So when I graduated in the spring of 1992, the cod fishery had just collapsed, and it was the largest layoff of people in Canadian history. The Newfoundland economy was in shambles. It was incredible. And so I came out of university at a fairly challenging time. My mom, she encouraged me to get a job as an accountant. Now, I tried that during a work term with ledgers and accounting and journal entries, and I got to tell you, I wasn't cut out for that job. But I have a lot of respect for accountants. In fact, one of our chartered accountants that works with us is here tonight, Rob Randall. I did secure a very good job at ACOA as an account manager, and I was there a couple of years, and I learned a lot from that job. It was my first real job at a university. But while I was there, one of the largest mineral finds in Canadian history, it was a global in terms of scope and size, it was made at Voisey Bay. And I saw an opportunity, and I began staking mineral claims and selling them to junior companies that were, at the time, companies trading on the Vancouver, Alberta, and Montreal stock exchanges. They weren't merged at the time. And, you know, I would stake claims one day, and a few days later, I mean, sometimes I get a 10 times return. It was absolutely incredible. And I went around to some family members and got some money, spent my own, guys like my dad, and I see Harry Rideout here. Was one of the people who actually gave me some money. So I was 25 years old, and I was in the middle of one of the largest staking rushes in Canadian history. So that led me into the resource sector, and I focused in that sector for about 15 years. The journey brought me around the world. In the late 90s, we were extracting diamonds from the beach sands of South Africa. And a total coincidence, but I arrived here a couple of days ago, and my mother says, Wade, was there some guy, Rudolph, that you used to do business with in South Africa? He just bought the St. Lawrence fluorspar mine. So anyway, Rudolph was my partner on the diamond venture in South Africa. I had lunch with him yesterday at the Merchant Tavern, and if there's anybody can turn that situation around, it's him. I'm going to tell you, he's a very capable man and good guy. Whether it was acquiring oil and gas concessions off the coast of Vietnam or spending tens of millions of dollars on exploration in Central and South America, I was constantly on the road to remote rural areas. And it wasn't exactly luxurious travel, if you know what I mean. I stayed in some rough places over the years. I did have a couple of close calls in small planes. Almost crashed in Zambia in 1998, and again in the Sierra Madre Mountains in Mexico in 2002. In 2006, we had an office in southern Mexico, and 3 of our employees were actually taken hostage at gunpoint in Chiapas, Mexico. And I negotiated their release, and I had to pay a ransom, and I paid it, and I got them out. And I can tell you, growing up in Calgary, Never would I have imagined negotiating with bandits to release hostages from the jungles of Mexico. And I tell you, that was quite an experience. There's plenty of stories. Some of the ventures I've invested in over the years have worked out exceedingly well, and you know what? I've also had failures, and it's part of the business. You know, the nature of the resource industry in particular, you just usually don't know till the very end, and it's a high-risk business. In the early 2010s, I made a conscious decision to diversify from the resource sector. I wasn't as passionate about it as I was in the past, although I still have a business interest in the resource sector, and I'm still, you know, I still have exposure and I'm still involved, but not to the extent that I was, where I was mainly focused in that industry. I decided, you know, back then, 13, 14 years ago, to invest in technology, in the high-tech sector. And you can only imagine what everyone thought about a mining guy getting into software technology and biotechnology. So there were a lot of people had a lot of doubts. At the time, I formed a partnership with Jim McGann, and Jim is sitting right here. We set up Numis Financial. We hired a team, and we built it up over subsequent years. Jim is here tonight with his wife, Natalie, and we've become good friends in addition to business partners. I value Jim as a partner because he's hardworking, he's smart, and he's loyal. And we also have, I mentioned earlier, Rob Randall here tonight. Rob is here with his wife, Lois. Rob has been with us for 7 years, and he's a highly skilled and hardworking chartered accountant. Like I said, Rob, I gave it a try, but it wasn't quite for me, but we're glad to, we're glad to have you on the team. He's rock solid, as they say. Jennifer Horton's with me tonight. Jennifer has been with me for 15 years. She's been an extraordinary positive person, both for business and she's become a great friend, a great trusted friend, incredible person, Jennifer is, and I'm always appreciative for everything she does at our businesses. You know, since establishing Numis, we've founded, we've invested in, and we've supported a number of successful businesses. In 2017, we found a new and exciting software company, at least we thought so, in Limerick, Ireland. It's neat.com, K-N-E-A-T.com. Dennis Ryan, I lived here for a while. Dennis Ryan of Ryan's Fancy actually introduced me to this opportunity. We've gone on to raise a lot of money for this company. When we first invested, there were 10 employees, and including the 3 founders. Today, it's got 280 employees. It's growing very quickly, a 60-70% annual growth rate. It's about to achieve profitability. A lot of these companies require heavy upfront investment before they turn profitable, but it's a high-margin business. It counts some of the largest companies in the world in its sector as its customers, including 8 of the top 10 pharma companies in the world and 16 of the top 20. And I have high hopes for this company. For the last 3 years, we've been investing in, supporting, and to the tune of millions of dollars, a company called Oro. It's based in Madrid, Spain. It's also growing quickly. We're the largest shareholders. The founders are still actively involved. It's got notable customers. We won a significant contract about 6 months ago with Air Canada. We're going to be the backbone for their ticketing and onboarding platform. It's got GlaxoSmithKline, the St. John, New Brunswick Airport, and among others. It's doing very well. At Numis, we also founded a company called Sona Nanotechnology, which is developing an innovative cancer treatment, which potentially can displace radiation for certain types of cancer. And we have a number of other exciting ventures at some early stage and some more advanced. So it's interesting. One of the things I've always felt strongly about is my identity as a Newfoundlander. I wanted to spend more time at home and come back home and do something substantial here in the province. And last August, we announced an agreement with the Port of Argentia. It has the potential to transform the port while creating a new provincial hub for business activity in the province. Our first major deal was announced a couple of weeks ago with one of the largest wind developers in the world, Pattern Energy. They're backed by the Canada Pension Plan. Argentia is poised to become a Canadian leader in green energy, and I agree with the earlier comments about the change in climate. I totally believe that we are responsible and we need to do more about it. You know, this particular project, and there will be others, is going to result in high-paying jobs and financial benefits for many years to come. Now, what's interesting about our agreement with the Port of Argentia, it's been structured with a view to ensuring that a significant portion of the financial benefits flow directly to the communities in the region. This is a true partnership with our skill set and their skill set, and it's a balanced approach and there will be direct and substantial benefits directly to the community. And you know, beyond the green energy hydrogen project, there's going to be more announcements, agreements, and benefits in the years to come. Sitting here tonight, I saw Carl earlier. We've got Carl Shepard. Carl, this was largely his idea, this partnership that we did. It's a real pleasure working with Carl. He's a brilliant Newfoundlander, a loyal Newfoundlander. He's a trusted friend, and he played a huge role in helping me, and more than helping. You know, it was largely his idea to get this going, putting this together. Dwight Ball has joined us as the chair of the new company that we've set up. He's been absolutely excellent. Another huge believer in Newfoundland. And I'm excited about that opportunity. So, you know, in addition to my family, I mentioned, are here tonight, I got my girlfriend Karen here, and she and her family have been advocates for environmental protection for years, you know, against deforestation and so on. But I've had a bit of an issue with her. I have not been able to convince her of the merits of the seal hunt, and I've tried, but don't think I'm gonna get there with the seals with Karen. Anyway, of all the things I've done, what I'm most proud about in my life are my children. Jesse and Evan are here this evening. They're sitting right there. And they both graduated from university, and they both have finance degrees, and both of them achieved honors in university, unlike their dad. But what's most important is that they are two very good people, and I'm very proud of them. I'm going to end with a quote from an ancient Chinese philosopher, and I will butcher the pronunciation, but it goes something like this: Lao Tzu. And the quote is, "To know when you have enough is to be rich beyond measure." So with that, I will leave you, and thank you again. I appreciate it. Have a great night.
Wow. Thank you so much, Stephen and the Gardner family, and thank you and congratulations, Wade. Those were inspiring remarks. I might mention that Susan Gardner was my accounting instructor during the MBA this past year, and she's fabulous if you want to give it another go. I'm inspired also, my 3-year-old son, I think I'm going to get him on the worm retail business because 50 cents a worm, that sounds pretty great. Our next award is the final award for the evening, the Alumni Honor Award. I'd like to call upon Dr. Alex Fazaruk to do the presentation. Dr. Fazaruk retired from the business faculty in 2015 after 34 years as a pillar of teaching and research excellence. A 3M teaching fellow, he received 24 teaching awards over the course of his career and was a long-term coach of Memorial's CASE teams, whom he led to more than 50 first-place finishes in national and international competitions. He was named a professor emeritus in 2016, and that same year, the business faculty created the Dr. Alex Fazaruk Chair in Financial Management Education. Please welcome Dr. Fazaruk.
Good evening. Tonight, I think what we're doing is recognizing Bob. That's an acronym, B-O-B, for the best of the best. We have so many talented people in this room, and if you want to know future award winners, just look around. Shake hands with the person on your right and left, and chances are some of them will be one of our excellent recipients in the future. Now, today, what we are doing is going to recognize, as I said, a Bob, but it's people who have cultivated their excellence well in our faculty, which is an outstanding faculty in a world-class university. It is my pleasure to be called upon to introduce the recipient of this year's Alumni Honor Award, Julia Malawi. I've known Julia for 36 years, initially as a student in the Introduction to Finance course, now known as Financial Management 1. Some students naturally stand out when they're in your course. While Julia was fairly quiet, it was immediately obvious that she would be going places. Unfortunately, she was seduced by the dark side of the force and became an accountant, as opposed to majoring in finance. Graduating with her BCom co-op in 1989, she went to work for Doane Raymond, now known as Grant Thornton. And she got the CA designation and qualified as an auditor. Now, the crassest definition that I've heard as an auditor is the person who comes in to bayonet the survivors once the battle's over. But that's not our Julia. I've encountered Julia in many professional capacities when I served on both the Audit Committee of the House of Assembly and the Audit Committee for the Province of Newfoundland and Labrador. In her then capacity as Auditor General, she met with the committees several times. In all her dealings, she was continually subjected to extensive public scrutiny, but were undertaken with transparency, honesty, and integrity, done in an uncompromising professional manner. Her staff also reflected the highest standards of professionalism and courtesy, which is a hallmark of an exceptional leader. In short, she looked after billions and billions of dollars of public money, which was looked after in a professional manner. Now, I'd also say that other alumni from the faculty have been auditors general, including Terry Padden and currently Denise Sanrahan, and so Julia is in fine company. Now, aside from the Auditor General, Julia also served as the clerk of the Executive Council and Secretary to Cabinet, meaning she had to keep Cabinet in line, which is a very difficult thing to do for politicians. But this is the pinnacle of being the highest public servant in the province. Once again, she was not alone from our faculty in that Anne-Marie Han and Krista Quinlan, currently the Executive Secretary to Council, the clerk, is also part of our part. In previous incarnations, she was Deputy Minister for Municipal Affairs and Advanced Education and Skills with budgets of $235 million and $935 million respectively. Large amounts of money are entrusted only to the most competent individuals. In 2009, Julia was the recipient of the Public Service Award of Excellence for Newfoundland and Labrador. In her current capacity as CEO of Newfoundland and Labrador Housing, her words on her website summarize and provide an excellent summary of the type of person that Julia is. And I quote them. The corporation's mandate is the development of policy, planning, delivery, administration, and evaluation of an array of social housing programs, as well as maintenance of our housing portfolio. As our corporate values indicate, we have a professional team of staff who are our most valued resource and who are committed to these goals. We believe that listening and treating others the way we wish to be treated is key to our success. We believe that fairness, equity, and respect guide our interactions with our clients and with each other. We believe that promoting a better understanding of our activities helps us to achieve our goals. We believe in building partnerships. We believe we are accountable for our actions and performance, unquote. But this quote of hers summarizes all which I have said up to this particular point. The minister responsible for Newfoundland and Labrador Housing, John Abbott, last week announced that the corporation would have an additional 3-year budget of $70 million to provide 850 new affordable renting homes throughout the province. More money has been entrusted to Julia, which was already over $100 million. On the personal side, Julia is a very amiable, calm, cool, and collected person who deals effectively in her professional relationships. In achieving her professional success, she, along with her husband, Cyril, also a BCom grad, have raised 4 children. I have a small present for Julia. You won't be able to see it, but it shows how long I've known the two of them. This is from 1989, the winter semester. It's taken from the Gazette, the university newspaper, and it shows us at registration. And there's 4 people in there. There's Dr. Chris Vaughn, who is no longer with us, but also Andy Thornhill, who is an award-winning published author, I would point out, but also Cyril and me. And Cyril and I were, well, we had more hair at that particular time on the top of our heads, but there we were in this archaic way in which we used to register students. But it goes back to 1989. Now, that's not to say that Cyril is associated with archaic things. Well, he is a strong fan of the Montreal Canadiens. The answer to the joke, how many Montreal Canadiens fans does it take to change a light bulb? The answer is 10. 1 to screw the old light bulb out, and 9 to tell you how well the old light bulb used to be. That's really fun. So Julia has a legacy also of being involved in volunteer activities, such as the local and national Girl Guides of Canada, church activities, the Heart and Stroh Foundation, the Admiralty Museum and Archives, the then Newfoundland Institute of Chartered Accountants, and more recently, she joined with other leaders in the community to participate in the Home Again Furniture, Heads Without Beds, Leaders Edition, to collectively raise over $46,000 and spend one night without their bed to increase awareness around furniture poverty in our region. So she has this wonderful ability to constantly serve the public. Millions and billions of dollars of public money have been well spent, and she's looked after it very well as an auditor. So given Julia's outstanding and consistent record of professional competency, which has been discharged with the greatest personal integrity and her excellent personal attributes, I am pleased and honored to introduce Julia as the recipient of the 2023 Alumni Honor Award. Julia.
Wow. I have to start out by saying I'm a Boston Bruin fan. Go Bruins. Thank you, Dr. Fazert, for your so many kind words and for nominating me for this special award. You yourself have been such a long-standing and dedicated professor at the Faculty of Business, and you have served as a role model to not only me, but to so many students over the years, and many who are here, and I know, I've met up back with today. So, thank you for that. And your continued leadership and all your roles that you play on so many committees and your service continue to inspire us all the time as well. So thank you so kindly for that. I'd also like to acknowledge Dr. Trevor Brown here tonight, current Dean of the Faculty of Business, and similar to, I think, what Wayne said when I got the call a few weeks ago, I was really surprised, so honored, but very, very surprised, so it was a very pleasure, for sure. I also wanted to recognize Dr. Gary Gorman here tonight, former Dean of the Faculty, and he was here at the Faculty of Business when I was a student, and so it was lovely to catch up with him this evening as well. And congratulations to all the other award recipients as well. I'm so very honored and humbled to be here today to receive this award. For me, I think this award really is meaningful because it recognizes, in my view, the value and role of public service amongst the very many facets of alumni contributions. It's wonderful to see also previous alumni winners, Mr. Victor Young here tonight, who actually shared that award and started his distinguished career in provincial government as well. So it was lovely to meet up with him this evening, and I was sharing a little story that I'll share with you tonight. Off the cuff, it was because I remembered it was so meaningful to me as a student at MUN at the time. You're quite shy a lot of times when you're a student, and we were doing our book reports. If anybody here remembers doing the book reports at the time. And I really did actually have a big interest in finance at the time, as stock markets, and we were, my particular report was on analyzing a number of companies and comparative analysis and what have you. And one of them I was looking at was the Fisheries Products International. So, of course, Mr. Vic Young was the CEO at the time. And as a young student, I thought, I would really love to interview him, but he's a CEO in a big organization. What do I, But I called and I spoke to his secretary. And lo and behold, he granted me an interview, and I had an interview for that, and it really made, an impact on the project. And I think, Dr. Fazer, you might have actually been the one to correct that. But nonetheless, I think for me as a student, it was just amazing, amazing experience to know that someone like that would take time for a student and really support it. So I think I get back to some of the theme tonight as well, supporting the students. So I thank you for that. Even though I know you probably can't remember that, thank you for that very much. Growing up, I was very fortunate to have so many positive role models in my life, including my parents, who were very active volunteers in my community. And these role models inspired me to similarly engage in community service throughout my life. And I think the early days of my career, that sense of purpose in serving my community, it seemed to naturally translate for me into being inspired to spend my career in serving the public, which I have considered to be a privilege each and every day that I wake up and go to work each and every day. I have been blessed with a very rewarding and challenging career, and one that has allowed me a very diverse range right across many different areas in government. In natural resources, I was part of negotiating teams for offshore oil and gas agreements where we worked really hard, and we knew at the end of the day that it was for the benefit of Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, and we did not want the oil companies to take advantage, should I say. We wanted to make sure that we could do the best deal we could for the residents here in the province. I worked in municipal affairs, and really, the interest there was a lot of community needs, a lot of infrastructure needs in communities. So it was working with all the councils and the communities to ensure we could do our best to help support their growth in the communities. In Department of Business, working with many business entrepreneurs and looking at how we could grow, the economy. In Cabinet Secretary, it's certainly part of implementing government's legislative agenda, which was very interesting. And again, the intent is to help implement, the view and the vision for the future here in the province. And I also had the privilege of being the Auditor General here in the province, and it was a privilege. And now I'm working in an area, I would say, that is my passion and, very personal interest as CEO of Newfoundland and Labrador Housing, where I work and have the joy of coming to work every day to work with incredible community partners here in our province, and not often spoken enough, and Lisa was certainly one of those with Stella's. Incredible work they do each and every day. So working with our partners and really trying to address the homelessness needs and the housing needs, which are many here in the province. But it's an honor to do that each and every day as well. And Memorial, that's where Memorial. So Memorial, and in particular the Faculty of Business, provided me with that foundation, and it provided me with that pathway to this career. And for that, I will be forever grateful. It feels like a very fortunate coincidence, actually, this week, in June, every year, right across the country, we celebrate Public Service Week. And in our province, our theme is proudly serving Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. So in many ways, I feel I stand here today to accept this award, not for myself, but for so many proud public servants across our province, and I thank you for that. On my personal family note, Memorial has played a very important role in my family. My father, who is currently 97 years old and doing fantastic, he was one of the very first graduates of Memorial University at the old Parade Street campus. He was a naval engineer, and he went on to serve in the Canadian Navy for many years. And my mother also was a graduate of Memorial University, as were all my brothers and sisters. And Memorial also provided me with so many other important connections, like lifelong friendships. And I'd like to recognize some close friends that are here tonight and fellow commerce graduates. Kim, who's here, and Anne and Don are wonderful friends of ours, and we stayed friends ever since then, and very close friends, and children have grown up together, and so they provide those types of connections as well. And importantly, it also introduced me to my best friend and another fellow classmate, my husband of 28 years, Cyril, who's here today and who's been such a tremendous support to me throughout my career as well. And my husband and I have been blessed with 4 children, 2 who are graduates of Memorial University again and are working here in the province, one who's currently a student in Memorial and just got accepted to the Faculty of Education. She's very ecstatic about that. And one who's currently in high school. And so he's going to be coming Memorial's way in another year. So, you know, my family's connection to Memorial continues on and continues on strongly. And I think, you know, that word connection is really where I'd like to end on. Because for me, and I think I referenced this in an earlier quote for this awards ceremony, it truly, Memorial represents for me more than the valued institution of higher learning. It's so much more. It connects us all. Connects us not only as students and as professors and as alumni, but it connects us to and represents a really important part of our history here in the province. It connects us to our future, and it connects us to our communities and to each other. So I thank you again very kindly for the honor of receiving this award. I'm so proud to be an alumni of Memorial and the Faculty of Business, and I really do truly look forward to continuing to pay this honor forward. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Fasrick, and congratulations again, Julia. Those are truly beautiful remarks. Our evening is drawing to a close, but before we wrap up, I would like to ask the award winners to join us up here for a photo when we're finished speaking. Once again, thank you so much for joining us as partners and helping us honor the achievements of Mohammed, Bell, Wade, and Julia. Thank you as well for helping us to celebrate the important relationships between the university and the business community that contribute to making the Faculty of Business Administration the success that it is today.
On behalf of the business faculty, we want to acknowledge the great support from our alumni, donors, and the business community. You provide guidance and expertise on the advisory board. You come into our classrooms in person and in Zoom, and you share your insights and your experiences with us as students, which is so valuable. You support student experiences outside of the classroom by being members of the Associates program, and you donate to faculty initiatives and help the faculty provide financial support to business students. It's clear that we do what we do. It's clear that what we do with the support of everyone in this room, and that together we can do so much more than we can do alone. Thank you all for coming to Partners and joining in our celebration. Good evening.